Hello, welcome back to GOT. Today we're going to talk about the Automatic V5 and the Pixel 10 Pro Fold and why these are both my favorite daily carrier. Let me explain. Let's go. Now, I've already done a video comparing the Automatic V5 to the Pixel 9 Pro Fold, and it's very similar. So if you want to see that video, go check that out. But today we are going to talk about the two of these and how close they are and maybe how far apart they are. Is one better than the other in performance? So let's go ahead and start with the look and feel real quick. You can see them on overhead. They're both fairly thin, of course, the Automatic being the thinner phone. So we put these two together here. You can see it is quite a bit thinner when you hold the two of them together. And of course, the thinness actually moves over to the weight as well. It's a lot thinner as well as the Pixel 10 Pro Fold is quite the heavy device. And then when you look at the back of them, you do have a huge camera bump on the Automatic V5, and it actually is a lot thicker or a lot more of a bump than the Pixel. So looking at these two in the overhead, you can see they have kind of the same size and dimensions. I think the Pixel is just a little bit wider. It's harder really to see, even in the overhead camera. It's just barely wider in dimensions. I'll pull the dimensions there on the screen so you can tell. So they're pretty much the same format as far as the size. And even in the screen size, where the Pixel is 6.4 and so is the Automatic V5. So when you turn them side by side here, and you can see the screens, they are pretty much the same width as well as the same height. So when you're using these on the daily basis and holding them in your hand, you could tell they feel very much, as far as the usability, the same. And they both do 5 apps across the screen. So you can see there that you can put pretty much the same amount of apps on each of them. And then when it comes to typing on the both, you can see you get the same width on typing. So when on both of them, I open up an app, let's say email here, you can see the keyboard here is pretty much the same. I love it because I do use the Google keyboard over here on the Automatic V5 because you get really good text to speech with it this way. Everything forms really well. So check this out on both of them. I want to take a quick second here and tell you how much I appreciate you for watching this video, but more than that, I appreciate you helping the channel get to 10,000 subscribers. And in celebration of that, we're going to do a great giveaway and give back to you. I've got items here that I've done reviews on, and expensive items over the last couple of years, and we're going to give these away to you. What I want you to do is just go to gotgoodoldtech.com, check out the giveaway right there on the website, and you can read all the instructions there, and you can even look at these things one-on-one and check out their value on Amazon. Some of these things are really expensive. We've got a lot of different cases. Even have a Automatic V3 case here, new in the box. So check out the website, enter to win in this giveaway, and celebrate with me. Now on to another 10,000 subscribers. Let's get back to the video. We are going to turn this on, and we're going to have them both write what I speak. And as you can see, they're both just as fast as one another. So there's no advantage to one over the other on this. This is great. Okay. And now once you do that, you can go ahead and hit this 4 squares on both of them. Check it out. You have AI right here, which is really cool. Didn't used to have that on the Automatic. It's been an update, and check it out. It's the same AI right that you find on the Pixel. The Pixel was a little bit faster in bringing that proof rate in, so that's pretty good. And did it do the whole, yeah, it did the whole thing here and the whole thing here. So it did a rewrite. Over here, you have other options. You've got other options. Okay. So this is exactly the same, folks. It gives you additional options. And here you can actually ask it to rephrase, and they'll rephrase. And of course, this time the Automatic has to beat the Pixel out. So you can see there, they both will rephrase, and they give you additional options for rephrasing. And let's say I just want it friendly. They'll both do the friendly. Let's see who gets it faster this time. They're about the same. So this is interesting. So, and you can see here, you have elaborate, shorten. They all do the same thing. Let's just go ahead and shorten it on both. See how short they get. So this is identical. So you can see when I pick up these phones and I use them and I answer or respond to comments in the comment section or respond to emails and such or texts, it's the same experience on both. So that's a great thing for me. I really enjoy both of them. And as you see, they're both are about the same size. The difference is mainly the weight in the hand. So now let's move a little bit further into these phones and see what's going on. So on both of them, of course, you have that large internal screen. On the Honor Magic, it's a 7.95-inch screen, where on the Pixel, it is a full 8-inch screen. So you can see they're very close. But when you set them down, the Pixel is a little more secure, where the Automatic is a little more wobbly because of that big bump on the back. Now, when you look at these things from the inside, you can see there's a lot more customization you can do on the Automatic E5, and that, to me, is what puts it over the top and makes it more of my favorite daily driver. You see here, I mean, look at the large file folders. You can make them large, you can shrink them. Not something you could do on the Pixel. They're all just small. There's not nothing you can do. You either have large one. Because what's really nice about the large ones is you can actually just press the app that you can see there, and it'll go right to it. So you've got maps here. On this one, you can't do that, which is why I have maps by itself right here. So we've got them both looking pretty much the same. But let's go ahead and take a look at the crease in the screen, because that is the big contention between them. And you can see here, I don't know, let's take a look at the overhead. Can you see it here? Can you see it in that camera? I don't know what you can see there, but I can definitely see that the crease is a whole lot deeper in the Pixel Fold than it is on the Honor Magic V5. Now we're going to look at these things closely and see how they perform. If you look at the two of them, they're both pretty much the same. You've got the same kind of side note here, and for some reason the Pixel's struggling to bring the stuff in here. I'm not quite sure why. So you just slide to the side and you have the news feed, which is really nice. Now they both have the same refresh rate from what I understand. And as far as the brightness on the screen, they're both pretty much the same, which I have dialed down inside here so you can see them better on camera. But check this out. This is what they look like outside.
Now, both of them do really well. You can see they're very colorful, but I think the ArmorMagic V5, except for the smudges on the fingerprint, can be deeper in color. You can see it here on this one. See how the blues are more rich? I think it has deeper blacks.
So let's get back to customizing the screen. As you can see here, you can put widgets on both of them. The difference is on the Pixel, there's a couple widgets like this search bar here. This search bar will actually search on the web or search on your device for things. So what I don't like about it is once you hit it, it opens up a totally different screen instead of just entering right there. It just bugged me. It's always bugged me. I don't like it. So that's why you don't see the bar over here on the Automagic V5. But you do have a search here, which I can do the same thing. So I like that better than this big old thing taking up all this space. Now, something about the Pixel I showed on another video here, when you take and turn it, check that out. The bar is actually covering some of the icons there. It's a glitch I'm sure that they'll eventually fix, but that's only if you turn that one way. If you turn this other way, it doesn't do that. So I'm not quite sure what's going on there, but that's the Pixel. Then over here on the Honor Magic V5, you have stackable widgets. That's not something you have on the Pixel. So there's just a whole lot more customization you can do on Honor Magic V5 than you can on the Pixel. But I think that's pretty much the same as any other manufacturer. There's more customization with them than there is on the Pixel, which is extremely odd to me since Pixel is the one that made Android. Why isn't there more customization? You need to get on that. As far as the camera comparison, I'll show you a few shots here on the cameras.
The shots, you got the Automatic V5 here on the left and the Pixel 10 Pro Fold on the right. And you can see right away the Pixel Fold, I think it's more pleasing because it looks more natural. You've got a lot of yellow added here to the Automatic, but I think I had HDR on by accident and I turned it off in the middle of this, but this is what we got so far. And this is the ultra wide. So the ultra wide really is never that appealing, and I rarely ever use that anyway. Let's go on to the next photo here. So now this is your standard one by shot. And again, the Honor Magic has a little bit or too much yellow, too much saturation in it, I guess is more like it. I really like the natural look here on the Pixel a lot better. Let's go ahead and clip in a couple till we get a full screen here on both of them. And then we can just look at the difference. You can see here, Yeah, there's a lot of yellow here on the Pixel, and it almost washes out. Well, I guess you wash out here too, but it just I like the look here on the Pixel a little bit better. As far as clarity, is one clearer than the other? I think they're about the same. I think because you don't have all this yellow on the Pixel, things look a little clearer. But you can see here on the Honor Magic, it's a 6.4 megapixel or megabyte file here, and the pixels are 4,000 by 3,000. And I think that the Pixel is just a little bit smaller. It's right at 4,000 by 3,000. The file size is 3.5 megabytes, so quite a bit smaller, almost half of what you get with the Honor. Let's go to the next shot here. This is, I believe, 2 times on both of them. I think it's really hard to tell. I like the sky better on the Honor Magic because it did add more color, and you could see that the color comparison's a little bit closer, but the Pixel, again, is a little more of a natural look, but I do like the sky better in the Honor. Let's go ahead and click on in until they both fill the screen. And what do we see here is any clear. Well, here I think it's still the main 50 megapixel camera on both of them, actually. It's really hard to tell on this, but it'll be a personal preference either way, which one you like better, whether you like more saturation or not. Let's go on to the next photo here. 3 times on both. Now you see, I think I'm liking the Honor a little bit better here because it's allowing more light, and you can see the clarity in this bush up front. And I think overall in the whole picture, so you can see that the Honor, I think, is a little bit clearer in my view here, and I think the clarity is much better. And then let's go on into 5 times on both of them. This is 5 times on both. Now remember, the Pixel has a dedicated 5 times lens, where the Honor is actually cropping in. It's not dedicated, and this is a really interesting comparison between the two because you still have a little more color here on the Honor, but then the wall back here has a little more color, so it's really hard to tell which one is actually more accurate. In some of it, you see more clarity in the Pixel, and in other parts of it, you see more clarity in the Honor. If you look at this tree, it's really hard to really say, but either one I think is good, and you'd be happy with either one. And let's go on into the next photo. This, I believe, is a 10 times zoom on both of them. And I think they're about equal in clarity as well. Is one clearer than the other? You know, you have a little more saturation and color over here on the Honor again, and then the Pixel. This is just a really close call on either one. And then lastly, I went with a close up on the wall of this bird to see how they're both. This is another 20 times zoom. And I think the Pixel did really well, but if you wanna look at detail, I mean, look, you can see the strokes, you can see everything in the paint on the Honor Magic, so I think it's actually presenting a whole lot more detail where I don't know if the Pixel, it's probably using AI to try to make it clear, and with AI, you do lose some of the detail you get here on the Honor. So I'd say overall, they're both pretty compatible, so it really would be a personal choice. All right, night, and with the first image, you can see the same thing, a little more saturation and color here on the Honor, but I think it's a little more pleasing than what we got here on the Pixel because the Pixel is doing a lot of flaring on the lights. We saw this in the difference between the 9 Pro and the 10 Pro Fold. The 9 Pro Fold did better. It didn't have this flaring that we have in the newer Pixel 10, so that's an issue there, but I think they're both but you got a lot more detail here in the Honor. Look at that. It's just showing up a lot more. And let's go to the next photo here. Next one, same thing. You do have a little more light flare on the Honor now, but on the Pixel, it's really blowing out. But look at the different coloring in the back. It's really adding a little more brightness to the Pixel 10 Pro Fold, which is probably the purpose or the cause of this flaring. So I think that the Honor does a little better here as well. Let's go on to the next photo here. This is zooming in. This is 5 times on both of them, or yeah, 5 times, 6 times on the Honor Magic because I used the dedicated. And I think you're getting more detail. Are you getting more detail on a Pixel? It's blurring when you crop in a little bit. more. I don't know which one's more pleasing, but this kind of really, well, it did the same thing over here. So really, it all depends on personal preference. As far as the blurriness of the leaves and stuff, it was a very windy night that I did this, so the leaves were moving quite a bit. Let's go on to the next photo. This one is a 20 times zoom, and or 10 times zoom is what it is, I'm sorry. Now look at that, the pixel really did well. You can see the details in the blinds. It's very clear, and I think it's because they did brighten it up a little bit more than what you got on the Honor. Is it clear? Well, in the distance, it's definitely clearer. You can't even see definition in these rocks whatsoever. So at 10 times zoom at night, the Pixel did win. But I do believe that overall, the Honor did better at night other than that one zoom shot.
Okay, now let's go to video. I'll show you a quick daytime video shot.
Okay, here we got video going on both of them out here in my backyard. As you can see, they both do pretty well. How do they do in the sunlight? Lots of color out here. I mean, we got fall. You can see it's all over the ground, and they both do seemingly pretty well, as you can see. And how is my audio going with the two of these? Let's go ahead and take these and set my tripod still right here, and I will get in front of the camera here, and we will see how my audio is in front of the camera. So how is the audio here between the two of them? Of course, you have the Pixel 9 or 10 Pro Fold and the Honor Magic V5, not the V3, Honor Magic V5. So how are they doing on audio? We'll switch back and forth between the two of them. Are they the same? Are they cutting out the dogs in the background? You know, probably not. I could do that in post if I wanted to, but we're going to play you the pure audio so you can see what's the difference between the two.
Now, after you've done all your photos and your videos, you can do some editing. And what I want to do is I want to get into editing on the photos on both of these. And you can see how similar they are. So what I do is I put photos all in one folder here. And on the Pixel, of course, it's Google Photos. So it just goes right in there. And then you want to go to your collection and we want to do what is on device here. Then over here on the ArmorMagic, you have the gallery. And we'll just go to the gallery and we'll go to the camera shots right here and camera shots here so we can mask these up. And now I want to show you some things that are really cool on what you can do with photos. So let's start with looking at this photo here of this old man playing chess by himself. Check it out. First thing you do is, let's say you want to, let's look at the edits. You got different edits. This one says AI edit. Let's say we want to make this picture a little bit sharper. You can press enhance on the Pixel, or you can hit magic retouch on the Honor, and it kind of do the same thing. But the Honor has another option as well, which I really like within itself. You could actually do what's called outpainting. So in other words, if you want to add more to the photo, you can, and you could pick the size that you want. So let's say I want a 9 by, no, no, 9 by 16, a 16 by 9. So we just need to add some of this to the outside. Let's see how it does if it outpaints on this one. So that's kind of interesting that you can have that feature here, but you don't have anything like that here. Pixel keeps it pretty basic on their editing. So we'll show you how that works over here in a moment. So you can see there, it just kind of added or reimagined some of different additional stuff. And I think it did pretty good. That looks kind of natural, like it could have been the photo. I don't think it is, but it did a really good just job of adding to it. It even added a shadow from the tree there. So that's pretty interesting. So we're not going to do that, or I guess it didn't add the shadow. Shadow was already there. So now we are going to go ahead and, you could do an erase. So let's go ahead and erase. On here, you got to get tools. Now you get all these tools that come up, and we're going to go ahead and magic erase. And it's trying to figure out what you want to erase on its own. But here is AI erase. And let's go ahead and just erase this chair. See if it'll just pick that chair out and erase it. And you can see it missed the leg. You can actually go a little bit more, add that leg, and that leg there. It's going to actually do some of that bush too. What are we going to do over here? We're going to circle this chair and see if it'll erase that chair for us. So now they're both doing their work. The Pixel did a good job. Chair is gone. You can see the ground there's pretty good. And what about over here on the Honor? I missed a leg, so I should have done the leg too. and I missed it. So we'll just add that leg to it. And you can see there, they both pretty much did the same thing, did great job erasing the chair and getting rid of it. There we go. It's gone. So, this erase feature works great on both of them. Now, let's go ahead and discard everything there. So now I want to show you something a little bit different in this. Check this out. This picture here, you've got Statue of Liberty. This is actually in Las Vegas. And let's say I go ahead and select her here. You see, it selects just that, and I can actually save that, and it'll just save her as a separate photo. You can't do anything. You can't select anything over here. There's nothing here. You have to go into edits on the Pixel to do anything. So let's go ahead and go into edit on both of them and see what we can do that's different. Now here's something on the ArmorGrid V5 that you can't get on the Pixel, and I don't know why you can't do this. See how it selected Statue of Liberty here? You can actually take and move it around now. See here? I can move her. I took her off, off of her pedestal and moved her down, and it's going to automatically rearrange her and set that up. So there she is. Now, if I don't want to do that, okay, I can actually modify the background. So once you do that, check this out, modify, it opens up and says, okay, where do you want her? So let's go ahead and put her downtown in my city. So let's go ahead and add her here. So check that out. There she is. And I can put her anywhere I want. I can make her large, you know. So here she is in my hometown. Put her over here. You know, I just think that is so cool. And if you want, I can mirror her. I mean, it's got a lot of features. You can't do that on the Pixel. You cannot take an image from one picture and put it in another. It doesn't have that option here. Even if I go to tools, you can see here, there's no magic crop. There's nothing you can do. You cannot take that photo out. So now we're gonna do something here. We're gonna look at this help me edit. You can see that right there. And in order to do that, we're gonna go back to the guy in the park here on the table. And I'm gonna show you a really nice feature here that you get with the Pixel. So this guy here, sitting here playing chess by himself is kind of pitiful. So check this out. Let's do this. And you know what? I'm going to show you here. You don't have any features like that here on Honor Magic. Here, you don't have any setting like that here on Honor Magic where you can reimagine. So all you do is you select this box and you can actually speak to it, which is really cool. I would actually like you to add another statue character sitting in the chair opposite of the other guy playing chess with them. I don't know how clear my description was in that, but let's see how well it does. And just so you know, I lied over here. You can do that with the Automagic V5. All you got to do is you go into Photos. Check this out. You can go into Photos, and let's go down to that guy. Let's find him here, sitting on the park bench right here. Now it says, all right, I added another statue. And what's really cool is it gives you different options here. Check that out. There's a lady doing it. I kind of like that one there. She looks like she's studying the board too. So you can say, save as a copy. And there you go. Now I've got this lady playing chess, the guy, and look how good it is. Now her arm kind of disappears in the table here a little bit. So that's not so cool. But it could be that her hand is resting underneath her arm. I don't know. It's not perfect, but still, see what it did, and it only gave her 1 foot. So let's see what happens over here. You could do the same thing by opening up Google Photos on the Automatic V5, like I said, and then you do the edit here. Check it out. Help me edit. It's right there, the exact same feature. Reimagine this photo with the second statue player sitting across for the one guy that's there playing chess. So now it's going to do the same thing, and you can see the image thing that it does here is the exact same as what we got on the Pixel. And here we go. And we got 4 photos. Wait a minute. He's not playing chess. He's sitting way over there. Let's look at the other photo. Okay, there we go. But the chair's turned. That's odd. All right, there's a lady playing. And there's another lady playing. But the chair's odd. That's interesting. So this one would probably be the better one. That's just odd. The guy turned his chair. So let's go this one. This one looks closest. Let's go ahead and do that. And I'm sure if we had it do it differently again on the Pixel, it would change. So here you go. At least she's got, it looks like 2 legs maybe. Then her arms are in her back. Oh, but she's sitting alongside of the table here. So there's there's not a good representation there. But you know what? You know what I'm saying. You could do the same thing with either one of them and reimagine a photo. I did it earlier here, and it looks pretty good, as you can see here. I like this one the best, and this was done on the ArmorMagic V5. So as you can see there, with either phone, if I'm out doing photos and need to do some editing, I could do that on either one of them. But I think the ArmorMagic V5 has a step up because it has its own features, and it could use the Google features. So Google's kind of kicking themselves there in the rear with that by making it available to everybody, but I'm glad they are. So now let's go ahead and do a processing power test like I do on all of them here. I use an InShot video editor, and I took a video in the backyard with both of them, and it's the same length. You got 4 minutes and 18 seconds here, 4 minutes and 19 seconds on the ArmorMagic V5. Now, what I like to do here just for part of the test, we're going to do what's called an AI edit, and what it does is, or AI cut, and what AI cut does is it takes out anything that doesn't have vocals in it or audio where I'm speaking. So there's some quiet spots out there when I'm walking around thinking. It's gonna cut all that out. It's gonna shorten up the video. Let's see what it does. See if they come to the same point. So while I run this test, I am gonna throw a timer in here. If you can see, what I do is I hit start and then the timer to get them all to do the same thing. And that's not it. I want the stopwatch reset. So let's go ahead and we're gonna hit start and then the stopwatch. And they both are running pretty neck and neck. We'll see how quickly they do it. I may have to stop this test or speed through it if it doesn't do it quick enough, but we're at 58%, 60%, 79, 80. We're really getting done here on wow, they pretty much both finished the same. It looked like it was finishing faster. I don't even need to do this. We'll display the times on the screen here. It looked like, well, the automatic did finish faster, but the pixel was right behind it. So as you can see here, what it does is it eliminates wherever there's silence. You can see what those X's are right there. And if you want a tip on editing video, right here, you can actually edit out video exactly the way they want it. If you had to repeat a line or refilm a line, you can actually exit out on this and edit your photo by the text or your video by the text. Pretty good. Let's go ahead and hit the check mark. This will finish it off on both of them. And there we go. So now they're both at 2 minutes and 58 seconds. So now we're going to go ahead and have them both export the file. And we're going to do it in 4K because that's what the video was taken in. And by the way, you already saw this in the video earlier, but this is what we're doing before I actually did the real edits. Let's go ahead and export them both. They're both at 4K. ArmorMagic's file is going to be just a slight bit larger. So let's go ahead and export. I'm going to hit that and then hit start with the thing right afterwards. So you can see the ArmorMagic started editing right away or exporting right away. So it's quite a bit faster here. And the Pixel is still getting started really. It's at 10, 11%, while the ArmorMagic is a third of the way done. So let's keep it going and I will speed things up. And when the first one finishes, we'll get right back to you. Looks like the ArmorMagic just finished there. We did tag the first lap is 52 seconds, and we're still working on the Pixel, and it's not even halfway or just barely over halfway. So you can see there the ArmorMagic already, we know, have processed about at least twice as fast as the Pixel. And we knew this was going to be the case going in because we know that the Tensor 5G chip just cannot compete with the Snapdragon 8 Elite chip in raw power and processing. So that's why I lost here. So we're at 82%. It's going to still take it a while. So we'll speed through it here. About done and stop. Okay, so a minute 55. So yeah, over a minute longer. That's quite a big difference between the two. I really don't need to say more about that. Now, as I said at the beginning, these two are my favorite daily drivers. I carry both of them with me all the time. Why do I carry them? Again, because I like the size, the width. They're almost identical in use case for the most part. So I'm really comfortable carrying either one versus something like the Samsung Z Fold. It's very narrow and very sharp on the edges. These are rounded, very sharp, harder to hold in my hand, digs into your palm a little more. And when it comes to typing, this is a much more narrow screen and it's a much harder, tighter fit to hold. and try to get all those keys without any issues. So all that to say, I really like the form factor of the build of these two better. And between the two of these, I really like the border of the screen versus the one with the border here on the Pixel. It's just, I like the way this performs better. Now let's talk about what I like about the Pixel 10 Pro Fold over the ArmorMagic V5. One of the things which I think is really great is this Pixel Snap, where you can snap this little grip ring right on the back. I think this is really cool. I like that. You know, I don't use a case for this because I haven't found one yet, or actually even looked yet. I'm sure I eventually will, but I really like this. Now this, I didn't mention before my other video, has some felt underneath it right here. Makes it nice and soft so it will not scratch the phone itself, which I found that a lot of these other rings that I have actually scratch the device or scratch the cases they're on. This one will not because it is soft, but because of that, it does easily come off. So you have to be careful. It can fall off fairly easy, but I really like this, and the fact that it holds so well on surfaces. It'll hold up the phone. It'll hold it up even open. I mean, that's just really cool. And believe it or not, it charges through this thing, you know. And what do we have to charge it with? Well, you got the puck right here. Let's go ahead and plug this puck in, and I'll show you here. I've got a little device here. Plug it in, and you can take this thing, and you can actually charge it with the device on there. See how it turned green? So it'll actually charge even with the ring right there on the device. So it barely sticks though. It is magnetic and it'll hold just barely. You got to almost set it perfectly and it will barely hold. Now there's another thing that I do like about the Pixel 10 Pro Fold, or even the 9 Pro Fold for that matter, is the facial ID recognition. In other words, you can unlock your banking, your password apps, or very secure apps with your Face ID, such as you do with the iPhone. I really enjoy that. Versus the ArmorMagic V5, you got the fingerprint reader. That's pretty much it. Besides the old-fashioned password or using your code to get into anything. Now, the last thing I like about the Pixel versus the Honor is the warranty service. Yes, because I'm in the United States, it's very easy to get the service through Google, at least better or easier than it is for the ArmorMagic or any other Chinese phone for that matter. You have to send that there. They don't have any kind of service centers here in the US that I'm aware of. I hope that at some time they do. And when the OnePlus Open decides to poke its little head out again and come out to the United States, that one has service in the United States as well. So that's about it. Is there anything that I might have missed? It now goes to you guys. I want to hear from you. Is there something I missed that really makes the Pixel more superior than the ArmorMagic? Do me a favor. Leave it down in the comments. Tell me, what do you think? Which one is preferred? Which one do you think is better? I carry them both because I'm really enjoying them both. And they're very similar as far as performance, look, and feel, other than the weight. Now, as I mentioned earlier in this video, I did a full video on ArmorMagic V5 versus the Pixel 9 Pro Fold, which is very similar to that of the 10. If you want to check that out, here it is. Until next time, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, make sure you do so you don't miss out on more content as I compare this to other phones. Until the next video, have a wonderful day. God bless.